I will walk through the process of the rounding of boulders as a result of chemical weathering using sugar cubes. In this example, I will be using this baking sheet to represent a cross-sectional view of a soil profile, with this being the bottom and this being the surface. In the beginning, rock will start out as jointed bedrock. Water will then seep in to the bedrock through these joints, causing them to be altered and weather into saprolite, which is weathered bedrock. As water continues to infiltrate in through these joints and weathering continues, alteration of these layers will work their way concentrically inwards towards the center of the rocks and away from the joints. But so far, this does not explain the reason why rocks will be rounded through this chemical weathering process. Well, if you think about this in terms of surface area, there is the most surface area around the corners, then the edges, and then the faces. A greater surface area will result in greater weathering along these areas, which then results in the weathering of the corners and edges, which produces a more rounded shape when the altered rock is eroded away. If we think about this on the scale of one rock or one sugar cube, where each of the individual sugar crystals can be thought of as minerals within the rock, we can create a situation where if we spray the sugar cube with water, it will create a more rounded shape. Over here, I have a sugar cube that I have sprayed with a spray bottle with water, and you can see that the edges have become much less defined, and in general, the sugar cube is much more rounded. Going back to our soil profile model and moving upwards from the jointed bedrock, here we have more mature and more chemically altered rock. In the center, where there's relatively unaltered rock, this can be known as the core stone. As you move outwards, there are concentric rings of weathering into saprolite. This process, which is also known as spheroidal weathering, can be seen in soil profiles as well as rock outcroppings. In rock outcroppings, the bedrock can be uplifted by tectonic activities, and the soft saprolite and soil atop these profiles can be eroded away, producing the rounded shaped boulders that were weathered underneath.